So now let's do the revision of abdominal cavity and the peritoneum. First thing which we need to do here is that peritoneum is a large serous membrane which lines the abdominal cavity. So it is like a polythene cover, or it is like a like a mask which is covering, which is present inside the abdominal cavity, and it is holding all the, or it is like a balloon present inside the abdominal cavity. Now this peritoneum has an outer layer of fibrous tissue and an inner layer of the mesothelial cell. Fibrous tissue gives the strength to the membrane, and the mesothelial cell secrete a serous fluid which lubricate the surface. So this is a closed sac and it is invaginated by a number of viscera. It's same as putting your fist in a balloon. So the part of your fist in contact with the balloon will be the visceral layer of the balloon, and the other layer which is not in the contact is the parietal layer. So the peritoneum has an outer or the parietal layer, inner or the visceral layer. Then say you put your fist like this, so there is a hand supporting your fist, so that is also fold of peritoneum by which viscera are suspended. Now the parietal peritoneum is derived from the somatopleuric layer and it is pain sensitive, and the visceral peritoneum is derived from the splanchnopluric layer. Now see, this is the peritoneum like a balloon. This organ is invaginated, and the part of the peritoneum connecting this with the body wall is known as the mesentery, and this mesentery contains blood vessels, nerves, lymphatics, etc. Now this visceral peritoneum has autonomic innervation, so it evokes pain when the viscera is stretched, ischemic or distended. Next thing is that this is a gut and it is connected to the anterior abdominal wall by the mesentery, and this mesentery like this it can be fused to the parietal peritoneum, and if it do not have mesentery it is called retroperitoneal. So the retroperitoneal structure do not move, but the structures with the mesentery move freely. Then see, the name of the fold is formed by the prefix mes or meso, like mesentery. Mesentery is the fold suspending the small intestine. Mesocolon is a fold suspending the part of the colon. It is same as mesogastrium. And if there are large peritoneal folds attached to the stomach, they are known as omenta, like greater omentum and the lesser omentum. Okay, so in many situations, double layered folds of the peritoneum connect the organs to each other or to the abdominal wall. These are known as the ligament. For example, gastrosplenic ligament, which connects stomach to the spleen. Next is that there is a peritoneal cavity between visceral and the parietal peritoneum. It can be filled by fluid, which is called ascites. If it is filled by blood, it is called hemoperitoneum, or if it is filled by the air, it is called pneumoperitoneum. Now this peritoneal cavity is divided into two parts. The larger part is the greater sac, and a smaller part which is behind the stomach, lesser omentum and the levo, it is known as the lesser sac. And these two sacs communicate through epiploic foramen or the foramen of Winslow, or opening into the lesser sac. This opening is present in the lesser omentum. This peritoneal in the females, this cavity communicates with the exterior through the uterine tubes. The peritoneum covering the ovaries is cubical epithelium, and the fimbriae is columnar ciliated epithelium. So now see, what is paracentesis? It is a collection of removal of fluid from the abdominal cavity. So what is the most, these X are the sites for paracentesis. First is the midway between umbilicus and the pubic symphysis, and the others are just above the anterior superior iliac spine. Then what is laparoscopy? It is examination of the peritoneal cavity under the direct vision, and opening up the abdominal cavity is called laparotomy. Now this greater omentum is very much mobile. Okay, so if there is infection somewhere, this greater omentum will go there and seal the space so that the infection do not spread. Therefore it is called abdominal policeman. So as we know, each part of the gut has their characteristic artery. Foregut is celiac artery, midgut superior mesenteric artery, and the hindgut inferior mesenteric artery. Now see, this foregut, all the foregut, the abdominal part of the foregut is suspended by the mesentery, both ventrally and dorsally, and the ventral part is called ventral mesogastrium and the dorsal part is called dorsal mesogastrium. So it's like this. So during the embryonic life, in the ventral mesogastrium liver develops, and in the dorsal mesogastrium spleen develops. So now ventral part of this now liver further divides ventral mesogastrium into ventral part and the dorsal part. This ventral part forms various ligaments like falciform and the triangular ligament, and this dorsal part will form the lesser omentum. Now the spleen is in the caudal, in the cranial side. In the cranial side there is dorsal and the ventral division. This ventral part will form gastrosplenic ligament and the dorsal part will form leniorenal ligament. In the caudal side or below where the spleen is present, this whole dorsal mesogastrium will form greater omentum. The midgut and the hindgut have only a dorsal mesentery. Now see this. This is the stomach, this is the pancreas, and this is the transverse colon. So now what happens, that area behind this, this is the lesser sac hole, and above there is lesser omentum, and this is the greater curvature, so this will the greater omentum. So now what happens, this greater omentum goes down and then folds on itself and goes upward to attach to the transverse colon. So now see, there are 4 layers of the greater omentum. Therefore we say that greater omentum is formed by 4 layers of the peritoneum, 2 visceral and 2 parietal. So now what are the contents of the greater omentum? Right and left gastroepiploic vessels anatomize here, and it is often laden with fat. What the function? There are various macrophages in the greater omentum, and they collect to form small patches known as milky spots. Okay, so this lesser omentum, how to do contents of the lesser omentum? On the right side it will have contents of the liver, proper hepatic artery, portal vein, and the bile duct. And on the left side along the lesser curvature of stomach, it contains right and left gastric vessels, gastric lymph node, and branches from the gastric nerves. Okay, so now let's see this diagram. This is the duodenum. Here will be stomach, duodenum, first part of duodenum, second part of duodenum, third part, and the fourth part. So fourth part goes behind this aorta and then come forward, and this will continue jejunum and ileum, but we haven't shown jejunum. This is the duodenojejunal flexure. The mesentery is the peritoneum or the covering which attaches duodenum or the intestine to the posterior abdominal wall. So this mesentery firstly attaches to the duodenojejunal flexure, then it encloses superior mesenteric vein, and then it encloses the urethra, and this is known as the root of mesentery, and this is the whole mesentery. So what structure does the mesentery cross? Third part of the duodenum, abdominal aorta, inferior vena cava, right ureter, and right psoas major muscle. Okay, so now this mesentery near the border of the intestine, it leaves some circular fat-free areas which are known as windows. Now see contents of the mesentery: jejunal and the ileal branches of the superior mesenteric artery, their veins, autonomic nerve plexus, and the lymphatics. Now see, the mesoappendix is the fold of peritoneum which will suspend the vermiform appendix. It is small and triangular, and it contains all the neurovascular bundle of the appendix. Okay, so this is how the mesoappendix looks, triangular and small in shape. Then we have transverse mesocolon. See, transverse mesocolon means the fold of peritoneum which suspend transverse mesocolon. So this transverse mesocolon this is the right end and this is the left end, and this is all on the anterior surface of the pancreas. Now this is the sigmoid mesocolon. It is inverted V shaped and the apex of the V lies on the left ureter. Okay, so now see this. There's the lesser omentum. This lesser omentum goes down and then folds on itself and goes above the liver, and then it comes in the contact of the diaphragm. So the lower part is ligamentum teres and the upper anterior part is the falciform ligament. Okay, so now see this. In the previous diagram we saw that the liver was on the ventral side and the spleen was on the dorsal side. So now what happens, that the liver moves to the right side and the spleen moves to the left side. This ventral mesogastrium, this part dissociates from each other. Okay, and then other role is same. This part behind the spleen, the lesser omentum and the stomach, it forms a really small boundary with only one opening. This is known as lesser sac and this is known as epiploic foramen. This epiploic foramen is also called as foramen of Winslow, and the boundaries of the epiploic foramen are, see this diagram, this is the epiploic foramen. Anteriorly it's bile duct, proper hepatic artery and the portal vein and the first part of duodenum. This is inferiorly, and then posteriorly we have inferior vena cava and the right suprarenal gland. Superiorly we have chordate process of the liver. Okay, so now this lesser sac has opening called epiploic foramina. It has three recesses: superior recess, splenic recess, inferior recess. And this is the last topic. So the referred plane of the foregut is above the umbilicus, of the midgut is at the umbilicus, and of the hindgut is below the umbilicus.